All right, class, today we're going to start off with section 8.2. And I think yesterday's lesson seemed pretty basic and simple about positive and negative numbers. And today's is not any more difficult. We're going to talk about comparing and ordering integers. All right, before we begin, though, we always start with our important facts to remember. Numbers to the left on a number line are less than numbers to the right. So when you're drawing your number lines, the further a number is to the left, whether it's positive or negative, the less value it has. The further it is to the right, the more value it has. And then make sure you understand that number lines can be drawn horizontally or vertically. And I will give you some examples with both of those today. And don't forget, 0 is neither positive nor negative. All right, first we're going to talk about comparing integers. Which one's greater, which one's less? I recommend until you get really comfortable with negative numbers, just always have a number line drawn on your paper. Graph each number on the number line and look at them. They're comparing -6 and 2. All right, a -6 and a +2. They're comparing them. So they put the 2 on the number line and they mark the -6. Well, if you remember, the further left a number is, the less value it has. The further right a number is, the greater it is. So -6 is less than 2. All right, now here's an example of a number line going the opposite direction. Instead of going horizontally, it's going vertically. It's going up and down. And notice that here's our 0, all right, and everything below the 0 is a negative number. If this number line were to continue, everything above the 0 would be a positive number. All right, but this time we're comparing two negatives. We're comparing -3 and -5. So the further below 0 it is, the less value it is. So -5 is less than -3. All right, the further up it is on the number line, the greater the value, even though they're both negative numbers. In this case, this person owes $5 to somebody. This person only owes 3. So they owe less money, so they have more money. I guess you could think of it that way. All right, so let's practice comparing. Here's your number line. All right, let's compare 0 to -4. So I would go on my number line. I would mark 0. I would mark -4. All right, so I have -4 and I have 0. Which one's further to the left? The -4 is. So when I come up here, my 0 is actually greater than -4. All right, let's erase those points and let's go ahead and look at the next one, -5. So I mark -5 on my number line. Then it says +5, so I come mark my +5. All right, so I have -5 and a +5. Well, -5 is further to the left, so it has to be worth, oops, sorry, wrote it the wrong way. It has to be worth less. So -5 is less than 5. All right, let's go ahead. We'll erase those points. Let's go back and let's do -8 and -7. Well, here's -8. Here's -7. They're right next to each other, but one is greater than the other. -8 is further to the left. It's less than -7. All right, now when you're ordering numbers, they give you a list of numbers, positive, negative, it doesn't matter, and they ask you to order the numbers from least to greatest. Use your number line. How easy is that until you get comfortable? And mark, okay, I've got -2. I mark my point. I've got -3. I've got a +3. I've got a +1, and I have a -1. Now all you have to do is list them. Least is the furthest less to the left. And I've got them all in order. Using a number line is really easy. Now, some of you that are more comfortable, you say, I really don't need the number line, Mrs. Smith. I can do it without it. Well, that's fine. But the number line is a great way to picture it if you're just doing negative numbers for the first time. All right, let's look at this. They call it reasoning with integers or thinking it through. It says a number is greater than -8 and less than 0. What is the greatest possible integer value of this number? Okay, so they took a number line and they went ahead and they marked -8 and they marked their 0. We need to find the greatest integer between -8 and 0. So when I look at my 4 choices up here, -10 is not in this bracket. So I can get rid of that choice. -7 is there. -1 is there. +2 is all the way over here. It's not even being considered. So the only 2 choices I really have are -7 and -1. Which one's greater? The one to the right. -1 is greater than -7. That is the greatest possible choice between -8 and 0. So the answer C is correct. Now look at this map. It's a little map with some cities in North Carolina, and it's marked their temperature, their coldest recorded temperatures. All right, it says which city has the coldest recorded temperature. Now some of you could look at this and you could say, oh, I know right away which one it is. And that's great. If you know it right away by looking at the picture, fine. If not, what I recommend you do is draw a number line. All right, and we're going to go ahead and use the vertical number line right now because all of our temperatures were either 0 or below 0. So I have each temperature marked and I have the city beside it. And that gives me a picture. So it says which city has the coldest recorded temperature? Well, the one that's further away from 0 is going to be the coldest. So Raleigh had the coldest temperature with a -9, or sometimes they would say 9 below 0.